Apple's latest entry-level laptop is a trap. I have been using the new MacBook Neo as my daily driver for a while now. And the truth is, Cupertino is playing a massive psychological trick on all of us. If you're watching this right now with your credit card ready to buy the Neo, put it down immediately. I mean it. Because the reality of this machine, when you strip away the marketing magic and actually look at the hardware, is almost insulting. It performs perfectly fine if your expectations are completely grounded. You see people on Twitter saying you can edit 4K video on this thing. Okay, sure, maybe you could drop a few clips on a timeline, but honestly, I'll believe it when I see someone actually render a massive project without hitting massive thermal throttling. Let's be real here. Anyone looking to buy a budget-tier Apple device isn't going to be running heavy, professional timelines. I connected this exact laptop to my 4K monitor to do regular web browsing, document editing, and standard daily tasks. That workflow is the absolute limit of the MacBook Neo. If you want to push past that, this is a terrible buy. But here is the massive kicker. That exact performance threshold I just described, that is exactly what you get from a 5-year-old M1 MacBook Air or M1 Pro. I know this for a fact because my previous daily driver was an M1 machine. They bench identically. The M1 chip completely redefined the industry back in the day, and it is almost completely identical in performance to whatever Apple shoved into this Neo chassis. The only real difference between the M1 Air and the M1 Pro was the fan, but beyond that, the silicon is shockingly similar to what we're getting right now. And these older machines perform basically the same as the shiny new Neo. But the most important point here, the absolute biggest factor, is that the M1 MacBooks are currently sitting at about half the price compared to the Neo on the refurbished market. Half the price. You are paying double the money for the Neo just to get identical performance. Does that sound like a good deal to you? I definitely do not think so. This completely aligns with what Ming-Chi Kuo was saying last quarter about Apple's silicon strategy. They are deliberately recycling performance tiers to maximize profit margins. Mark Gurman noted in his recent newsletter that Apple's internal testing showed the entry-level market doesn't care about benchmark scores. They just want the glowing Apple logo. We also saw reports from the LX showing that Apple completely cut corners on the display panels for this new tier to offset the high costs of TSMC 3nm yields on their Pro machines. It just shows you the level of cost-cutting happening behind the scenes. They want you to pretend the refurbished market doesn't exist. Shrimp Apple Pro actually leaked that Apple is terrified of their own used market cannibalizing entry-level sales, and the Neo is their direct response to that exact problem. So what exactly do you lose if you decide to be smart and pick up an older M1 instead of this Neo? By far, the biggest thing is Apple's official warranty. If anything goes wrong, you're on your own. Also, if you plan to keep your laptop for a super long time, the Neo gets more software updates since the M1 is nearing the end of its life cycle. You also have to deal with the risk of buying refurbished. You have to hunt for a good deal and avoid getting scammed with a broken unit. The Neo also gives you the newer design with those rounded screen corners. Is a slightly curvier screen worth paying double? Actually, let me know down in the comments. Would you pay a huge premium just to get rounded display corners? Because I definitely wouldn't. But the rabbit hole goes deeper. Let's talk about the hardware you actually sacrifice when you pay more for the Neo. The trackpad. The M1 Air has a haptic force touch trackpad. The MacBook Neo uses a traditional, physical clicky trackpad. Wait, really? A physical diving board trackpad on a modern Mac? Yep. Now, I have to admit, it is the best physical trackpad I have ever used. Apple figured out how to make it click near the top, which usually sucks on expensive Windows laptops. Within 5 minutes of unboxing the Neo, I thought, okay, this isn't a total deal breaker, but it still lacks force touch. I use hard press all the time to look up dictionary definitions. You simply cannot do that on the Neo. Then there's the screen. The older M1 actually has a better, more color-accurate P3 wide gamut display. The Neo is stuck with basic sRGB. If you edit photos or videos, that is a massive downgrade. DG Times actually reported on this a few months back, noting that Apple was sourcing cheaper sRGB panels from secondary suppliers to keep the Neo's production costs down. Ross Young also hinted that future budget Macs will stick with these cheaper 60Hz sRGB panels for at least another 3 years. It is a textbook example of the Apple tax. You also lose the backlit keyboard. The Neo drops the backlight entirely, which drove me crazy at night. I know how to touch type, but if you need to look at your keys, this is a massive problem. And the fingerprint sensor? Not on the base model Neo. You just get a standard lock key. You have to pay extra for Touch ID. On the M1 Air, it is standard right out of the box. The speakers are noticeably worse on the Neo compared to the older Pro models too. Let's talk about I/O because this is where Apple gets really sneaky. The M1 MacBooks feature 2 Thunderbolt USB 4 ports. You can plug your external monitor into either port. The MacBook Neo gives you 1 USB 3 port and 1 ancient USB 2 port. USB 2. Mac Otakara accurately predicted this port downgrade last year, and it limits your external display routing strictly to the back USB 3 port because the USB 2 port literally cannot handle the video signal bandwidth. Let me ask you guys another question. Does anyone here actually use USB 2 for anything other than a basic wire mouse in today's day and age? It feels completely out of place. Battery life is always tough to test objectively, but my M1 felt like it lasted longer than the Neo. Either way, you're going to need a reliable charger. I never remember to charge my laptop at night. I will just open it in the middle of a class or a coffee shop and realize it is dead. So I've been carrying the Ugreen Nexode Air. It pushes 65 watts, is insanely compact, and comes in colors that match the laptop. It shrinks the massive Apple 61-watt brick down to practically nothing. I also tested their MagFlow Air 10,000 mAh power bank with a built-in USB-C cable. Just a heads up, if you have a smaller Pro iPhone, it hangs off the bottom, so it is really meant for the Pro Max users. I will drop links below if you want to check them out. Looking at the big picture, the Neo is incredibly easy to recommend to a casual student who just wants a brand new Mac. But that is exactly how Apple wants you to think. They want seamless integration, but they give you fragmented hardware. The M1 Air and M1 Pro remain the greatest value laptops on planet Earth right now. Don't fall for the shiny new marketing. Save your money, grab a refurbished M1, and enjoy the backlit keyboard, the Thunderbolt ports, and the massive savings. I will catch you guys in the next one.